Okay, James Wilson here again. I'm going to do another video talking about the 7 lucky states and ways that Trump can win the election. Okay. Um, the map is like this right now. Actually, I'm going to change this second district um, to toss up. Okay. So right now, I am 95% confident that the states will go this way, these ways. Okay. Um, Trump will win the red states. Biden will win the blue states. So the most likely state Trump would not win would be Missouri, and I'm 95% confident that he would win that state. And then in the blue states, it's Minnesota, and I'm confident that Biden would win that with 95% confidence. Okay. So without further ado, before I talk about the 7 lucky states, I'm going to fill in this map real quick. Okay. I'll just go with leans. I don't typically like going with lighter colors, but I just want to kind of show you guys what states I think Trump will win. Okay, so Nebraska's 2nd district leans towards Trump, and I'm just going to make all the states that are not part of the lucky 7 that I feel that are going to lean towards Trump for the election. Okay. So we got that taken care of. Oh, no, Ohio. That's right. I knew I was missing one. Okay. So what this means is that I am now about 70% confident that Trump will win all these states. Okay. We got additional 5 states: Texas, Iowa, Ohio, North Carolina, and Georgia. North Carolina is like my least confident out of the 5, but I'm still confident that he's going to win that state. Okay, so now we're at 220 to 222. It's a very tight race here. Okay. And so the 7 lucky states, in my opinion, is going to determine the election. Now, I will say this. If any of these red states, including the pink as well, if any of these states for Trump that I have highlighted here, if any of these go to Biden, the election is over, in my opinion. So if Texas goes blue, the election is over. Okay? And that goes for Iowa, Ohio, North Carolina, and Georgia. And even the solid red states. If any of the solid red states votes for Biden, the election is over. Why do I say this? Well, because in my opinion, all of these states that are highlighted in, pink or red right now are going to vote right, more conservative, I should say, than the 7 lucky states that we're going to talk about. So if any of these states goes for Biden, then the majority, if not all, of the lucky states, 7 lucky states, will also go to Biden. And that goes the same for the blue states. If Minnesota flips on the Republican side, then I think the whole state, all these 7 lucky states, are going to vote Republican as well. Okay? So without further ado, that is my logic behind this. And really, there's no point in talking about if Texas goes blue. There's no point in talking about the election because it's over. Okay? There's no point, and also in my opinion, if any of these states go blue, any of these states that's highlighted in blue or pink go blue and vote Democrat, the election is over. Okay? because these states are going to go blue. At least the majority of them are. Okay? I'm sorry for going up and down on this. Okay, so with that being said, with that being said, I'm going to talk about the 7 lucky states and ways that Trump can win, how he can win. Okay? So I want to talk about Joe Biden, and people are saying, the Rust Belt's all for Biden, because he's born in Pennsylvania. And so, Biden wins. Now I'm just going to go ahead and do this here, because I just like it solid. Okay, Biden wins the Rust Belt. In my opinion, the Rust Belt, the 3 Rust Belt states and the 7 lucky states are Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. So before we get into this, let me talk about what states are the 7 lucky states. It's kind of like a jingle for me, okay? The 7 lucky states are Nevada, Arizona, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, New Hampshire, and Florida. Those are the 7 lucky states. These 7 states are going to vote more liberal than any of these red states that I highlighted, red or pink states. And they're going to vote more conservative than the blue states that I have highlighted in blue. That is a prediction, and I will verify that after the election, but that is a prediction that I'm making right now. Okay? So without further ado, let me go back to Biden being this awesome guy that he's going to win the Rust Belt because he's for the working class. Is there a way that Trump can win if he wins these states? Well, if he wins Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, as you can tell, he's not quite to 270. Okay? So if Trump wins Florida, Arizona, Nevada, and New Hampshire, he can get there. That is the only way Trump can get there. That's it. Okay? One possible way if Biden carries the Rust Belt. And that's assuming Trump winning, obviously, the Nebraska 2nd District and the Maine 2nd District as well. And I have a winning Maine 2nd District anyways. But I am still confident that he'll win the Nebraska 2nd District because Obama didn't beat Romney in that district. And I think Trump's better than Romney. So, without that saying, that's why I have it highlighted in pink. But that is the only way Trump can win with losing the Rust Belt. Okay? And so we can just play around with these 7 states. I do personally feel that Arizona is going to be the more conservative state. Okay? But, can he win losing Florida? It's possible. Right now, Biden's at 251 with Florida going blue and Arizona going red. So let's say Trump wins the Rust Belt and Biden wins Florida. He can get there. Okay? There's a couple ways he can get there. I mean, he can afford to lose Wisconsin. But he's going to have to win he's going to have to win Nevada or New Hampshire. Okay? And New Hampshire. He can win both. Okay? Now we're talking about the polls here. These 3 states are very close, in my opinion, how it's going to run out. Florida is a mixed bag. It could go either way. But if Trump wins Florida and loses the Rust Belt, he's going to have to win the rest of the states, as we talked about before. So Trump needs to win at least one of these other states. I mean, if Trump can win Pennsylvania and Florida, he's going to be looking good, but he's still tied. He has to win more than just Pennsylvania and Florida. 269 would not get him there. A tie would not get him there. He will lose if there's a tie. So it's not in his favor if there's a tie, but that is a possibility of a tie happening if these states go blue and Florida and Pennsylvania go red. I don't see it happening this way. But if it's a tie, it's over for Trump because the House of Representatives, they're the ones that vote in for the president. And that's controlled by the Democrats. Okay? So that's not going to be good for Trump. We can't have a tie. Okay? So, you can mess around with this. If Florida goes red, then Arizona goes red. Let's go ahead and pick up one of the Rust Belt states. Even Wisconsin would put him at 270. Michigan would put him, way above that. Okay? So, long story short, Trump really needs Florida. If he wins Florida, he can afford to lose he can afford to lose at least one Rust Belt state, even if he loses, like, let's say Pennsylvania, but he wins Wisconsin and Michigan, then he wins the election, okay? Or if he loses Wisconsin but wins Arizona, he wins the election, okay? So, he technically doesn't need Florida to win. I know the polling in Florida, he was just doing very poorly. But Florida does give him an advantage because it has more electoral votes. And winning Florida gets him the 249. He needs 21 more electoral votes. So, he can get one of the Rust Belt states, either Pennsylvania and Michigan, and then he has to win another state. Okay, he can win Nevada, but if he gets Michigan and New Hampshire, he has to win something else. Okay, so the path of victory is kind of narrow that way. Biden doing, if it goes like this, he still needs one more state. Okay? And we can mess around with this here. If he wins the Rust Belt, he needs one more state. Okay? He can win New Hampshire and get in. Okay? That's probably not likely going to happen as far as him winning the Rust Belt and losing Florida. I just don't see that happening. But it's possible, if I had to choose which states would vote right or left, or, he has the best chance, in my opinion, to win Arizona. As my other prediction, if the election were tomorrow, which technically today, but I did have him winning Arizona. That's the only state I had Trump winning in the lucky 7 states. And so the next question is, what state do you think he's more likely to win after that? And, all the polling has Biden up in these states. But just looking at the history and everything, my next state would be Florida. I think he's second most likely to win Florida. And then it's like, okay, if he wins Florida, what state is he more likely to win? Then it becomes kind of questionable, He lost Nevada and New Hampshire, but he won these other 3 states up here. And now it's just, you're kind of questioning it. If you're going by 2016 election, going with the trends and going with the history, then I would say Pennsylvania would be next. A lot of people don't agree with me on that, but Trump, he got almost 300,000 more votes than Romney did, which is way more than Michigan, and he actually lost votes in Wisconsin. Another argument would be Nevada. Nevada has voted Republican more than Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, or New Hampshire since 2000. And so, if you're going with the history there, so if he wins Nevada, he has to win another state. So to me, this is where it gets complicated. Which states would more likely vote right of the other? And that's why I had the 7 lucky states, because I really don't know. I mean, I can guess Arizona would be the one state that would more likely vote for Trump. But that was a very difficult state for me to predict in the last video. But then I have to go to Florida, because Florida voted Trump last time, voted for Bush twice. So going with the history and how Florida is always tight, I have to go with Florida would be the second most, state that Trump would win. And so now you at 260, he has to win one of the Rust Belt states, or he can get in the backdoor way of winning Nevada or New Hampshire, and New Hampshire both. Okay? And then he can afford to lose the Rust Belt states. And then one of the great things about the Supreme Court is they said you have to vote that way. Okay, so if it is 270 to 268, they have to vote that way. Okay, so that's good for Trump in that respect. But also, if Biden somehow gets to 270, they have to vote his way. But yeah, that is the only backdoor way Trump can win. So Trump wins Florida, Arizona, Nevada, and New Hampshire. He can get there. Now, if you give New Hampshire and Nevada to Biden, but Arizona and Florida to Trump, if Trump wins Arizona and Florida, and Biden wins Nevada and New Hampshire, Trump has to win one state. He just has to win one of these states up here. And, I don't know which state, honestly, I don't know. I mean, what state's more likely to vote for Trump? Okay? I know Biden was born in Pennsylvania. I know that Trump won more votes in Pennsylvania, not by much, by 45,000. He barely won Michigan by 11,000, and in Wisconsin, I believe, was 23,000, if I remember right. Okay? I mean, which is more likely to vote for Trump? Many people are saying Wisconsin, but Hillary lost a lot of votes. She lost over 200,000 votes in Wisconsin. I know Trump has really been focusing on that state, so maybe he can make ground. But he's got to win one of these states. If Biden wins Nevada and New Hampshire, assuming Trump wins Arizona and Florida, Trump has to win one of these states. And so if this goes to Biden, it's going to be 278 to 260. And that is a very possible scenario. It can happen this way. Okay? And Trump loses a very close election. Okay? So, what do I think's going to happen? I have no idea. These 7 states can go either way. Okay? Just counting by the numbers. Okay, yeah. These 7 states. So counting by the numbers, if Trump wins 3 states, he can get there. Depending on what states they are, he can get there. He can get there with Arizona, Wisconsin, and Florida. He can get there. Okay? Now, Trump winning 4 out of the 7 states. Nevada, Wisconsin, New Hampshire, and Arizona will not get him there. Okay? So, the electoral, he has to win another state. So, yeah, that won't even get him there. So, even if he wins these 5. So, when I'm saying here is the electoral votes matter more than how many states he wins. Okay, so getting Florida is extremely important. And if he can get both Florida and Pennsylvania, all he needs is one other state. If he gets Florida and Michigan, then New Hampshire, he still needs another state. So he can win either Nevada, Arizona, or Wisconsin, or obviously Pennsylvania. Okay, so that can get him over the top. So well, you can mess around with it and play with it, but it's only worth talking about. It's only worth talking about if the rest of these states go for Trump. If these states don't go for Trump, then the election is over. The election is over, and there's no point in even having these videos. I mean, the liberals are saying it's over. That Biden's going to win. They think that Biden's going to win Florida, Pennsylvania, New Hampshire, Michigan, Wisconsin, Nevada, and Arizona. They think he's going to win all. And then some of them are saying North Carolina. They're just going to win North Carolina. So this is like a prediction that's pretty common amongst the liberal Democrats. I know the numbers. Okay, I'm not stupid. I'm not just going to say Trump is going to win in a landslide victory. I know a lot of Trump supporters are saying that. I don't know how. Unless Biden falls flat on his face. And if Biden falls flat on his face, as I said before, it's going to go this way. Okay? It's going to go 316 to 222. I'm not changing that prediction. But the state of North Carolina, I'm fairly confident that Trump will win that state. And I'm, as I said, probably around 75% confident in that state. And it's these 7 states that I'm not confident at all on either candidate, at least right now. I mean, obviously, if you look at the polls, Biden wins them all. North Carolina's a toss-up. Texas is a toss-up. Georgia's a toss-up. Ohio and Iowa, those are very close. The polls are very close. But as I said, I do believe, with some exceptions, the polls do lean towards the Democrats. So let me know what you think of this video. Like and subscribe to my channel. And any comments would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.